I actually drove to the hospital while I was in labor. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So thank you so much for tuning in again. I know for those who have been following this page or this channel so far, you would have seen the For the Mommy series. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. So this is the first video of, I guess, just myself, where I'll be just sharing some tips and just my experiences about motherhood. And yeah, so I had asked a few questions on Instagram to kind of just kick this off or kick off this channel. So in an effort to share, I guess, more of myself and my journey and experiences in motherhood, and for you guys to get to know me a bit better, I threw out a Q&A thing on Instagram. So I'm going to be using this video to answer those questions. I'm not sure if it's going to be a part A and part B video, but let's just see, I guess, as we go along. All right, so I got this question: what inspires you? So I think what inspires me is purpose. I have been a little bit obsessed with just finding purpose. I want to know what I'm destined to be or do, and I think part of that I know is to certainly just to help people, share my experiences and help people. And I've been doing that, I feel like, in every area of my life so far. So this new part of my life is motherhood. So I started this YouTube channel to just help mothers, or just share my experiences and just hope that somebody is inspired. So I think purpose and wanting to, I guess, just create a difference and just make a change, and especially in, I guess, this particular phase of my life, which is motherhood. What inspires me is definitely my daughter. I want to be that person that she looks up to, who she finds to be an exceptional person overall. How was your pregnancy? My pregnancy, to be honest, was really good. Well, except the first, I'm going to be doing a video on this, by the way. So I'm going to be doing a video per trimester. So I'm going to be doing 4 videos, first to 3rd trimester, and then you have the 4th trimester, which is like the newborn stage. But my pregnancy was fairly well. My pregnancy was good. In the 1st trimester, I felt a bit sick, but I did not vomit every day. I only vomited like once, and that's because I had some green tea. So I had vomited once. I think in my 2nd trimester, what happened was, I think I was cleaning, and I was eating, and some little blood did come, and I was so devastated, but throughout I had a really good pregnancy. I don't think I had experienced like many hormonal stuff and whatever, but it was really good. I enjoyed it, to say the least, except the first part, really, because as soon as the girl hit her goal weight, that first part of pregnancy where you have no appetite and whatever, you lose weight, and so that's my least favorite part. But my pregnancy was fairly well. I had good support. I ate really well, and I think I had put on, so I was at 125, I dropped to 115, and then I went all the way to 147, which is not a bad weight. I like it. So I had a good pregnancy. How was labor and delivery? Labor, to be honest, was not bad. I actually drove to the hospital while I was in labor, and the pain was bearable. I almost believe that I was not in labor because of how bearable the pain was, or the contraction was, rather. And even up until so I left home and I drove to the hospital while in labor. When I got to the hospital, I was 8 centimeters dilated, so the baby was supposed to be coming, I guess anytime now. And when I got to the hospital, I saw my gynecologist that had sent me straight away to the maternity ward so I could guess have the baby. But delivery though is certainly another story. I'm not sure I'm ready to get into that as yet because I experienced birth trauma. So which is very super weird to me because I had such a smooth pregnancy, my labor was so good, and then I just kind of ended up in birth trauma. So that was very traumatic to me, and I certainly want to share with you guys, but I'm just still working through the whole thing. But labor was good, but delivery was just like a hot mess. And I think it was a hot mess because I don't know if it was negligence or if it was, I just have like a bag of theories that I'd love to share, and I'd love to have some feedback from persons who probably experienced same. So I will certainly let you know. But I experienced birth trauma, but my labor was smooth sailing. My first thoughts or reaction to finding out I was pregnant. So I felt like I knew that I was pregnant. So when I found out, I took the test alone. I opted to do it alone because it's like me, I said, Lord God, what am I gonna do? Type of thing. I have a whole video. I'm gonna do a whole video on this with the first trimester thing and talk about that. But when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, in the split of a second, I was happy, and then I got extremely sad, extremely low. And I don't know what the cause of that was. Well, I think I do know. I think most of it is because I wasn't ready. And the person that who's the father of my child, I would have wanted to just kind of experience some more, stuff with him. But yeah, so when I found out I was pregnant, I was happy, but then in a split of a second, I'm not exaggerating, I was just like super sad, super low, and super confused. Were you nervous about becoming a mom? Certainly very nervous, very, very nervous. I honestly did not see myself really becoming a mom. Yeah, I did not see myself becoming a mom, or right now at least. If I was supposed to become a mommy, I wanted it to be at like 35. So I got pregnant when I was 27, and I was imagining having a baby at 35. It's always when you have your house, your car, when you're married, when you're a woman and you've bloomed into your full form and full self, it's like, that's when you want to have a baby. But certainly that was not the case. I was extremely nervous. I wondered if I was going to be a good mom. I wondered, about all the trauma that I, went through in life. How am I going to deal with that? How am I going to manage as a mom? Like, am I truly ready to be a mom? But at the same time, it's just like, I think I was excited. And when I made the decision to have a baby, as in, yes, I'm very deliberate in terms of when I say I made the decision, because I could not have had the baby, meaning I could have made the decision to just terminate. But when I decided that, okay, then I'm going to do this, I was nervous and afraid, but I felt like I could do a good job, and I felt like it would have been good for me and for the baby. Yeah. How's postpartum for you with all the changes? Postpartum is, I don't know, man. Postpartum is just, it's like so many different changes: emotional, mental, physical, the relationships around me, the relationship with myself. It's just like a whole lot to unpack. But it's been a beautiful experience. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about people. I learned about what purpose is, because before this I feel like I wasn't really living or having any purpose in life per se. Postpartum changes for me, it's very humbling as well too, because for me it's like I feel like I'm a smart, intelligent young lady, right? But it's just like postpartum, and I can Google things and I can sometimes know things, but it's just like or know who I am as a person, all my feelings, just emotional, physical, and whatever, and to just kind of be humbled by all the changes that are taking place inside of your body. It kind of made me have to revisit, who I am, quote unquote, as a person. Yeah, I think so. In terms of, I guess, my confidence, my self-esteem, the way I think, how my behavior affects those around me, how does it affect myself. Go on, good girl. Yes, thank you. Think you'll be one and done, or you gonna have more, or too soon to know for sure? I think I don't mind having like another child, but it's just to go through the whole experience again, because I've gone through birth trauma. So to kind of wrap my mind around it right now is challenging. But yeah, man, I want originally I wanted as I said, I have a daughter, so I thought I would have been like a boy mom because of how my personality is pretty rough, you know, assertive type of thing. And I've always felt like I've had better relationships with men than women. So maybe a little boy would be nice. All the best. Thank you, girl. What are some tips you have for first time moms? I think my biggest tip is that your best is good enough, and you will not know everything. No matter how hard you try to prepare, and this is not even in a way to discourage, but no matter how hard you try to prepare, you cannot prepare for everything. And I think that's the beauty of it, because you get to learn so many new things. You have this human in front of you. You get to learn about somebody, you get to guide and manage somebody, and you get to learn so much about yourself and your partner if you have one. If you're not a single mom, you get to learn so much about yourself and about you know I guess your partner, as I mentioned, and your baby. And I would also say that to become a part of a community so you don't feel alone. I think motherhood sometimes can feel very lonely, especially if we feel like nobody understands, or if we're the ones that are doing like majority of the work. So it's important to find a community and have that one friend. And I think therapy is also very important if it can be afforded. So yeah, I think so. And just take time and be graceful with yourself. Give yourself grace. I think it's important to give yourself grace, and don't beat up yourself, because if you're a first time mom, you will not get it right all the time, or get it right the first time. But be graceful with yourself, and don't be too hard on yourself or your partner or your baby if you do. Yeah. How do you feel about your postpartum body? Okay, so when I just had the baby, and like 2 months after, I had just like the perfect body, right? But then I got super depressed, and I just lost all that weight. I lost all that weight because I have the baby. I'm coming down to like 125, 130. Who cleaner than me? And so, but I lost so much. I lost all of that weight because I was so depressed. I was just like going through the whole motions and whatever, and did not like that body. But now I'm starting to eat and put on back my weight, so I'm kind of liking it now. My belly still, I'm not gonna show it, but we can't show it on camera. My belly still, I have a little pudge same way, so I need that to go, because I used to have I don't need it to go because it's fine on a level, but I would prefer to have my six-pack because that's what I am used to, right? Boobs, I'm not too fussy about them, but sometimes I think about, okay, then if I wear like a strapless shirt, I guess similar to what I'm in now, it's not looking bad, it's not looking bad. But you know, I guess I think about that sometimes, like, because they have stretch marks now. I don't mind stretch marks, but it just shows me that she been a haul and pull them. It shows me that, you know, my boobs kind of hang down a bit more than what it was like before. So yeah, but overall I feel like my postpartum body, I don't mind it, but it's coming back to how, you know, I'd like for it to be. But I still feel pretty insecure about it, to be honest. I feel pretty insecure about it. So what I try to do is to get clothes or find clothes that fits. I'm into like big clothes now because I feel like I'm still so small. So I try to insider. So I try to wear big clothes to kind of hide my skinniness on a level. So yeah, so I'm a bit insecure, but I'm working on it. How was picking baby names? So picking baby names was fun, and a little bit it was fun, but easy in terms of I knew right away that I would not have gone with like a European or an American name or whatever. I certainly wanted my baby's name to be an African name. So that made it easy, and like an African goddess. So before I knew I was having a girl, I made a list of African names for boys and girls who are gods and goddesses. So narrowing it down now to three, me and her father, we spoke about, okay, then you know what's the meaning behind these names and stuff, and we had two names that we kind of we didn't know what we wanted to. We were certain on the middle name and the last name, of course, but the first name is like we just couldn't decide because we were just a little bit unsure about it. You know what, I'm not gonna say the name here just yet, but we couldn't decide what name because, you know, one was kind of sweet but definitely very fiery. Both names were sweet and fiery, but the difference between them was that one of them, her personality would have been like a dominant warrior, and we weren't sure about like wanting to name our daughter that name because of the personality or the persona that you know, may come from it. Because what happens, I realize is what I realized was, or just reading up, is that some African cultures, they wait until they see the personality of like a child before they name them. But you know, for me it was a little bit opposite. I never wanted to name her something and then she kind of took that persona or that personality. Yeah, I thought very deeply about it. Okay, most interesting pregnancy symptom. I used to love to brush my tongue, but I know it was, I don't know, it kind, so like I used to get excited about brushing my teeth, but like brushing my tongue, it just feels so good. It just, it feel like so different from before. So I used to always brush my tongue. I feel like, I don't know, I used to get such relief and such peace, and it just made me feel so good to just brush my tongue. I don't know what it was, but that's my interesting pregnancy symptom. Where do you find joy? That's a good question. I find joy in whatever solitude I can get these days, which is like right now in the night. I find joy in solitude, listening to podcasts, going to the river, and of course, you know, writing, which is my first love, writing. So I find a lot of joy in writing whenever I do get the chance. And that's what I love about, I guess, being a mom and just the whole pregnancy journey, is because it exposed me to so many different things. I just want to write about it, and I think that's what I've been missing, because up to 2 years ago I've had a writer's block. I wrote so many different things on my laptop, but I finished nothing. I have a lot of pieces, but I just finished nothing. But right now I'm just so determined to write and finish something. So that's where I find joy. What's kept you most grounded? I think what keeps me most grounded, well, I'm gonna answer it part two ways. So while I was pregnant, what kept me grounded was the fact that I will be bringing a life into this world, and I would love to make a difference in somebody's life. I would love to give that person what I wanted as a child growing up. I think that, and I know what keeps me grounded is again her, but it's not even like her as much. It's really me, myself, and what I want for myself, because I feel like what I want for myself, she would be proud of me. So it's almost as if I'm not really necessarily doing things for her alone. I'm definitely doing things for me as well. And that's the thing, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm doing this for her, I'm doing this for her or him as a mom, and just kind of lose yourself in the process. So I think what keeps me grounded is myself, and like whatever I want in life, I feel like I'm very motivated. My discipline now, I need to work on that. But I think that, and reading, and I've been meditating somewhat these days. So that, and of course my big therapist, like she really does keeps me grounded. She keeps me grounded. She's amazing. If you're watching this, which I don't think she will be, but she certainly keeps me grounded. I think I'm probably gonna turn this into like oh, I don't have to turn this into a 2-part. Obsessed with you. Okay, bye. I'm obsessed with you too, girl. What's your favorite part of the mommy journey? Favorite part of the mommy journey is seeing the different things that she does. So she very funny. Like, we have a very funny daughter, and she full of personality, which I'm sure a lot of parents would say that their children are full of personality and them funny. So sometimes I would just see her do some random things, and I'm like, how did you learn that? Like, is it from me, or how? Obviously they are, you know, them have like some innate type of thing where them can just do whatever they want to do or feel and stuff. But I think just kind of seeing her grow, it's interesting to me, because not saying that I'm underestimating her, but I'm just not really, I don't know, I'm not underestimating her, but it's just like she kind of blows my mind. It's almost as if I don't have any expectations. I'm just going with her flow. So I think that's one of the things that's my favorite part of motherhood. And then how much it's influencing and impacting me to, for example, do this video like late at night. So yeah, it's the thing about motherhood. I think it gives a certain type of strength, you know, that I did not know I had. And I think that's the most important thing. So tired to me before, or the definition and feeling of being tired before, is totally different from now. Because me say me tired back then, like I'm tired right now, but it's just like I'm extremely functional. Yeah, I'm functional. So it's like in my time we can like dig up some type of energy. Before in the time I just get tired and just like, you know. But so it's just like a certain type of on-top strength that you find and that you have. How long do you think you'd breastfeed for? I'm still breastfeeding. This girl is a titty monster. I'm still breastfeeding. She did not take the bottle. She took the bottle for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, but she did not take it after that. So it was just like the breast straight, right? And the thing is, I did give her the breast more than the bottle, so maybe that may have been a cause as well, which is fine for me. But I did feel away in the first like 6 months or so. She's 8 months now, so I'm still breastfeeding, but I did feel away in the first 6 months because I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. And I actually did not go anywhere for those 6 months. I've never left her. I left her for the first time when she was around 7 months, and that was for like 2 or 3 hours to go do my nails. Do you have to psych yourself up sometimes, or are you always eager to take care of her? I think that's a brilliant question. I certainly do have to psych myself up to take care of her sometimes. I have not slept throughout the night for the last 8 months since having her, and I'm tired, and sometimes I want a break. from her for certain, because I'm somebody who is used to being so alone, who's used to solitude, who is just used to silence, you know what I mean? So I love her all the time for sure, but I have to certainly psych myself up to just kind of take care of her, because there are days when I'm just tired, I just don't want to talk, and I'm just out of it, and I still do have to take care of her. And sometimes what I do, I find myself, because I don't really talk much. I think she's awake now. What? Yeah, so sometimes I do need a break. So some days I'll find myself not talking, but I know that sometimes, you know, the whole not talking thing can actually limit their growth or their development. I have to push myself out of that mood and talk to her, sing to her, play with her, do all of that. There are some days where I'm just feeling like super low, you know, or some days where I'm just, oh my god, I have to change a diaper again type of thing. But I certainly do have to like give myself a power talk, give myself a motivational talk, because you know, I want to be the best mommy. I want to take care of her. I think that's her. Okay, so I'm back. I know this looks like a continuation of the video, but I actually had to do this the following day. So it's basically taking me 2 days to finish this whole recording. So getting back to the question, I'm way too tired, and sometimes I just don't want to do anything. So, you know, I definitely have to psych myself up or just give myself a motivational talk, as was mentioned before, because I don't want to leave my baby girl hanging. And the next question, 3 words you would use to describe motherhood. Purposeful, challenging for sure, and unpredictable. Unpredictable because I think that no matter how much you try to prepare, sometimes there will be some moments where you're like, what do I do? Or, you know, how do I approach this? Or, you know, anything like that. The final question, I believe, is how do you balance your career and personal life? That's a good question as well too, because I'm still trying to do that. I'm definitely not a pro, so I'm still trying to figure out and balance all of that. Since becoming a mom, it has become difficult, because I think, and especially because I do a lot of work from home, I find that sometimes I get very involved in the mother role and not so much the work role. But you know, I try my best to do what I need to do and stay on top of things. But how I do that is, as it stands right now, I have the help from my mom. So whenever I'm doing work or cleaning the house or having some personal time or whatever, I would, you know, have her grandmother take care of her or just watch her for a few minutes or a few hours. And I try to block out my days as best as possible in terms of, I mean, like time blocking. I wake up early, many mornings, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I go to sleep late at night or early mornings like 3 a.m. because I have to use those times to kind of meditate, to read a book, to write, to do things like this, you know, record this type of content. So yeah, so time blocking, I would say. And I think I try to communicate as best as possible. I'm still trying to figure that out or learn that. Communicate in terms of when I want to do something, I let my mommy know from beforehand. And yeah, so I think time blocking, I have to definitely be waking up early and going to sleep later, so I have time to do what I would want to do. That's the end of the Q&A, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and let me know as well if you would want me to record like what type of content or what you would like to hear from me in terms of my experience in motherhood. And I will, you know, look at them and see if I can definitely share on those topics. So yes, remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm saying it again because, you know, let's spread the word. And stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be on my experience in the first trimester. Bye.